Right, you scurvy dogs. It's time to set course through the vast waters once more in search of treasures lost and the thrill of the next wave.
That's right, it's the review of Pirates of the Caribbean 4 on Stranger Tides. We last saw Jack in Pirates 3 holding a map for the Fountain of Youth that he stole from Barbossa, so it's only natural we go from there, right? I personally want them to continue with Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom in the series, but I'll get back to that later. We see Jack get brought to the King's dining room where it's pretty much explained that they want him to find the Fountain of Youth before the Spanish do. At first he plays hard to get, then in walks Barbossa, and what the f happened to him? I'm not talking about the don't get me started on that, no, I mean his outfit, my God, he's wearing the King's Navy uniform and it just looks embarrassing. That's not what Barbossa looks like. This is what Barbossa looks like. This looks like Captain Crunch. And you would think that he's just wearing that king. No, they're on the same side. He wears that through the whole movie. So they screwed up my favorite character a little, no big deal. Anyway, Jack escapes the dining room in a way that only Jack Sparrow can. Pure but I guess it helps when the king employs some of the dumbest guards around. There was a scene where one guard saw Jack running, started to chase after him, but then decided to put his weapons down first.
Ah, Jack Sparrow! Come back here! Don't need these. Okay. Ah!
Aside from that, it was a pretty great escape scene. Then Jack runs into his dad, out of nowhere. Yeah, that's right, Keith Richards is back again. Why? Because the grass is green. There's no reason he needed to be there. To reinforce Jack needed to find the Fountain of Youth?
Find the Fountain of Youth.
The Fountain of Youth.
The fountain is the prize.
The fountain, the fountain.
The fountain.
The fountain.
I think it's pretty well established that he's headed there. Is it to warn him?
Don't be a fool, Jackie. The fountain will test you.
No, it didn't. In fact, the fountain was pretty straightforward. Then it must be to tell Jack that an recruiting sailors. Yep, that's it. Got them all dressed up and out there just to say,
hey, someone who looks just like you is behind that door.
What a wasted payment that was. I just did it. Give me some money. I'll do it again for less. So he goes to check it out, and wouldn't you know it, an epic sword battle breaks out. These guards come in. Jack soon gets knocked out and wakes up a Blackbeard. Now I love this because just when you think the in these movies can't get any cooler or far-fetched, they do. You got the Black Pearl, my personal favorite. It's always dark and veiled in mist. The Flying Dutchman,
part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the...
And now Queen Anne's Revenge. Blackbeard controls the whole with his sword. That's awesome! So we got Blackbeard the villain, and we got his Angelica. Okay. But where's the pirate comic relief? Remember these guys? The guys that have been on board through the whole trilogy? Yeah, they're not in it. You can kiss them goodbye. Sorry, guys. You know, I really miss those guys, but that's okay, because we got this guy. Yeah, he's irrelevant, and not half as funny as these two, but there's no time for them because we got mermaids to deal with. Yeah, these aren't your fairy tale mermaids either. These are killer mermaids, and you better not with them or they'll web sling your ass. Now that scene was great, but I guess if you hang around with mermaids too long, you start to fall in love with them. Yeah, no need for Will and Elizabeth to show up in this movie because we have Philip and Serena. Hooray! Now Serena's not only a mermaid, but she's also a device to carry along the plot because at the Fountain of Youth, you need a mermaid to have everlasting life. Philip, on the other hand, is only there to fall in love with her and to and moan. Why does Philip need to be in this story at all? He just seems like another forgettable character. And speaking of forgettable characters, remember the Spanish? Well, they're still in the movie, and somehow they found the chalices that go to the Fountain of Youth. So just like the glory days, Jack and Barbossa up and use some good old-fashioned pirate tricks to get the cups back. Which is what I love about the series. The whole enemy of my enemy is my friend concept, that really makes these movies what they are. Which unfortunately in this movie is few and far between. The other films had multiple plots taking place side by side, which made the films more intricate because of the fact. You know, people would team up and then double cross and then triple cross and then you're like, wait, what? Oh, that's good. But in this movie, it's pretty cut and dry. They reach the Fountain of Youth, Barbossa and Blackbeard and then the Spaniard shows up with his crew. You forgot about them again, didn't you? Well, here they are, and for some reason they start to the fountain apart. And I know a lot of people were like, really? Why did they need the chalices if they're just gonna down the place? That's a long way to go for some sipping cups to not use them. And what about Philip and the mermaid who sacrificed her? Well, she grabs Philip, swims away with him underwater, and you never see them again. I'm so glad he was in the movie. I'm probably the only one who wanted to see Will and Elizabeth back again. Say what you want, but their story arc was much better than The Missionary and the Mermaid. And even through some of the bashing and character absences, I could see why they made another movie. There's nothing like them. They've got the market cornered on pirates, and they threw in every pirate cliche you could think of. And Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow can pretty much hold together a franchise like this on his own. And he did, because it's very Jack heavy. There were very few scenes that he wasn't in, and his jokes were constant. There were a few points where his antics got a little distracting. I mean, you don't have to sell Jack Sparrow to me, I've already bought it. That scene where he comes into port on the very first Pirates movie, that was the height of his character to me. That right there says everything you need to know about Jack Sparrow. Now, I don't want to give away too much of the ending, but all in all, it was a pretty decent movie. I mean, it was enjoyable to watch, and I wanted to see what was going to happen next. I was, however, very disappointed that I never got to see my favorite
Ah, the great adventure is over, and the end was truly a sight to behold indeed. But what more lurks out beyond the horizon, just waiting to be found, I wonder. Tune in next time to find out, cause I'm sure this ain't the last we'll be seeing of dear old Jack Sparrow.
There should be a captain in there somewhere.